Hi everyone, it's me, Harriet from The Little Dressmaker. It's very lovely to have you here. Today I'm going to be doing a sew-along of this pattern, which is Butterick 6178. There are lots of very nice versions, but I got this out so that I could show you better which one I did. I'll talk about the fabric first. So firstly, the fabric was sent to me very kindly by the lovely owner of Dovetailed, which is an online shop which sells, I think it is just an Etsy. They have a website and an Etsy shop, and it's all African wax print, but they sell African wax print bags, clothes, accessories, fabric and books. So obviously I got the fabric, and I spoke to a really lovely lady, the lady who owns it, and I've met her before, I think very briefly at the knitting and stitching show, but I don't think we really spoke. I just was looking at all of her fabrics and saying that they were so cool. So when she contacted me to say would I like to choose one to make something with, of course I said yes, because I wanted to push myself out of my fabric comfort zone a bit, because I've never worked with wax print before. So I chose this really nice one. It's quite different to things that I usually go for. It's a very bold colour, and I mentioned it, I can't remember what I called the video, but it was my last fabric video. I can't really hold this up too much because these are the finished culottes, but it reminds me of branches or like veins or something. I just really like it, and they're really nice colours, and I do have a jersey fabric, which I also mentioned in the last video, which is going to go really well with the light blue in this. So I asked on Instagram, I did a little poll whether you would want to see me make these culottes first as a sew-along video or the Stella joggers by Tilly and the Buttons, and it was the majority vote for the culottes, so that's what I went for. And like I said, I did Butterick 6178, which has been everywhere on Instagram and YouTube, and everyone seems to have made them, so I'm the last one to the party here. I made my mum some culottes, but I wasn't really sure if I could pull them off, and to be honest, looking back, I'm still not really sure if I can pull them off, but you'll see at the end of the video. You can help me decide. But originally I did want to make view C, which is this one here with the double sort of box pleats, I think they are, or yeah, I think they're box pleats by the looks of things, but I didn't have enough fabric for that because the legs were so wide. The legs for culottes are massive anyway, but when there's the extra fabric to make a box pleat, it's just a lot of fabric. So in the end I made view D, which is this view, and I've got very little legs, so I did shorten the pattern slightly, but like I said, you'll see that. I've tried to talk over the clips in the video, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing at the same time, but it was really hard to judge because I recorded all the clips silently and decided to talk or put music over them afterwards. So if the timing's a little bit off, please forgive me, but I'll see you in a second when I start making these culottes. Also, before I get into the video, the lovely owner of the shop, Dovetailed, or Dovetailed Limited, is it? The lovely owner of Dovetailed, who sent me this fabric, very kindly agreed to write a guide to working with and caring for African wax print, because I don't know that much about caring for African wax print or even sewing with it before. I knew a lot of the features, and I knew that it was pretty much like cotton, but I didn't know if there was any extra care steps that I needed to take. So she very kindly agreed to write a blog post for me, which is up on clothingcareco.com right now, which is all about working with wax print, how to care for it, general tips that she might have for you. So if you're interested in that, I will link that in the first line of the description, and that is on my second blog/website, which is Clothing Careco. So if you'd like to have a read of that, please do. And enjoy the rest of the video. I hope you like it. Okie dokie, so the first thing that I'm going to do is, obviously I've cut everything out and I've pinned the darts, but what I'm sewing those darts first. So on the front pieces and on the back trouser pieces too, I'm just sewing those darts in, making sure to back tack only at the top of the dart, and then leave the pointed edge of the dart free so that I tie it in a knot like you can see here. rather than back tacking so that there's not a lump. But to be honest, the majority of the time is spent tying that knot, so I could have cut this out a bit more, but we'll just watch me struggle for a bit longer. And then I had to press those afterwards, of course. There was a bit of an issue noticing the right side from the wrong side with this fabric, but I just made sure that I marked it nice and clearly so that I didn't do anything wrong. Then Otto decided to come and sit on my lap for a minute and prevent any further progress, so you can just admire him for a second there. Oh, he's so cute. The next thing was, this is the next day now, I was sewing the front and back leg pieces together along the inside leg seam. And I was, if you're wondering, I was watching a Louis Theroux documentary there, which is why it's taking me so long to sew that seam. Yeah, just did that twice, obviously. Here I go with the other one, making sure that everything is all pinned. Oh, I'm using my old machine in this, by the way. Oh, I've got to replace the bobbin, of course. That's the way it always happens. I do use my old machine in this video just because my new machine is plugged in upstairs and I couldn't be bothered to unplug it all and bring it down again. So this was my first ever machine that I had. As you can see, it's very simple. It did keep malfunctioning, so there were some things that I didn't do. And then I did the inside leg seam, like I just said, and then overlocked it. And the next thing to do was, as you can see what I'm struggling here, I'll finish my sentence that I was saying before. My machine did have a few malfunctions while I was sewing, so there were some bits that I didn't film and I sewed on my other machine instead. But here I am just pinning the crotch seam. Obviously it is going to be in line. So I've pinned the crotch seam and here I am sewing it, just going all the way around, being careful on that curve. Really, I should have overlocked each bit of the fabric of the crotch seam first so that it would have been easier afterwards. I can't remember how I finished them now. I'm stitching the pockets now. I've pinned them all together and I am just stitching the line down. It's a different seam allowance, so I'm just trying to remember that. So yeah, as you heard there, I'm just sewing the pocket pieces onto the front legs and back legs. All the pocket pieces are the same, so there's 4 exactly the same because they're going to be inseam pockets. So at this point I'm just sewing straight down along the leg so that that's the bit that you turn to the inside. It's kind of difficult to explain, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll just ask you how you are at this bit. It's been quite tricky to time everything, so there's probably going to be quite a bit of just meandering conversation while I'm doing something else in the video, taking longer than anticipated. So I've pinned all of that and now I am pinning the actual pockets together on the front and back leg pieces. I did have 2 different pocket fabrics because I didn't want it to get too bulky. So that other fabric is just a lightweight cotton. So did that, and then after I've pinned those pocket pieces I have to sew down the leg. That's me laughing at how funny I look there. And I've started at the bottom of the leg and I'm making my way up to the top with a normal 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, and then once I get to the top of the leg in a second you'll see that I carry on through the pocket part so that there's a bit for me to put my hand in. There's me just checking it, and there we go, just going up the leg bit there. I look very attractive while I sew. And then the same on the top, so I have to go down from the top so that there is space for me to put my hand in. Itchy nose, that's that bit done. Next I'm turning up the 1.5 centimetre allowance on the waistband. So that when I put the waistband on, that bit I fold over and then slip stitch or stitch in the ditch so that it's all neat and all of the seam allowances are hidden. So there I am, just pinning that bit, going all the way along. I hope this voiceover is okay, by the way. And then I'm pinning the unturned edge to the waistband, as you can see there. Just going around with that. Doing a little bit of easing. I did take 2 centimetres out of both of the outer leg side seams also, just because I'm quite little, so I had to take that out. A rare bit of me talking. I've just pinned across all of the waistband. I've still pinned up the seam allowance here. So what I'm going to do is stitch all along the waistband and then press everything and trim this bit, and then I will come back for the next step. Yay! Okay, I'm back. I've stitched the waistband on. You can't really see because it's such a big print, but the waistband is on, the edge is pressed over. I haven't trimmed that just because I can't really be bothered. Oh, there's a cat just appeared. Can you see his tail? Get away. And I've pinned the edges, so I've folded the waistband right sides together, and this side has a bigger overlap, if you can see, than this side does. This one's right next to the zip, and that's because they're going to overlap when you're wearing them, so it's sort of, I mean, this is the wrong sides, but they do overlap. So now I just need to stitch down where the pins are and then turn it the right way out. So I will do that. I won't bother filming it because it will be too short to do any kind of voiceover on or anything. Okay, so I stitched the edges here and then I've turned them the right way, the right sides out. So the zip looks nice and tidy. You can't really see it, but the zip is a different colour to the rest of the fabric. I did that on purpose. But yeah, this is all nice and turned out. This side's all nice and turned out, and this side is going to overlap this side when it's done up, obviously. So what I need to do now is slip stitch this bit of the waistband closed or do some stitching in the ditch. I'm not really sure, I haven't decided what I want yet, but I do want to put my Handmade by Harriet label on. So I'll just do that in front of the telly. Then I need to put a hook and bar on, which you just are those things that you have at the front or back of trousers and they just sort of slot together. And then I just need to try them on and hem them. And then I'm all finished after a final press. So I'll do those things because you don't really need to see me doing them. And then I'll show you the final product when I'm done. So I'll see you later. It'll probably be dark by then because I'll forget to do it all day. Got to go write a blog post now. This blog post, by the way, that I've been writing, it's been all about how to make sure that you're buying quality garments when you do buy ready to wear. And it's taken me a really long time. I've ended up having to split it. At the moment I've only written the first blog post, but I'll be splitting it in either 2 or 3 blog posts. Hopefully it'll just be 2, but yeah, I'm ending up having to split them, but it's taken me so long. So I'd really appreciate it if you could have a look at that blog post because I just put so much work into it. And there is a free printable with it, so I'll put the link below for you. But yeah, I'm going to go finish these bits and then I'm going to try them on. And that is that. Those are the finished culottes. We went out into the garden to film that last little clip and it's quite windy, as you could probably tell by my legs flapping about. Not my actual legs, the legs of the culottes. So now I can show you in a bit more detail. They've got a nice little waistband. The fabric's going to really wash me out. And the legs are very wide. I feel like I might need to take the legs in slightly more if I make another pair or on this pair even. I'm just not used to having anything wide-legged. The widest I've ever gone is like straight leg jeans. But I do really like the pattern and I think with more wear I'll feel a bit more comfortable in them. But my concern was that I was too short to wear something so wide and it would sort of make me look like I was just straight up and down, whereas because I'm so short I usually need something to bring me in a bit at the waist so that I don't look a bit like a rectangle / Oompa Loompa. But Mum really likes them and I think at the moment, just to start off with, to get myself a bit more confident and comfortable, because they are very comfortable, but more comfortable wearing them, I'm just going to wear them around the house on kind of lazy days or comfy days. And they've got lovely pockets. I used 2 different fabrics because I didn't want it to be too bulky, so I have this zigzag fabric and some of the self fabric in the pockets, but you can't see that anyway. And they're lovely deep pockets. The zip looks really good at the back, I think. I'm glad I did an exposed zip because I don't do concealed zips anyway, just because I find it a bit tricky to undo them with my fingers. but yeah, I'm really pleased with them overall. I think I like the length. I'm not really sure where culottes are meant to hit you on the leg lengthwise, but Mum pinned them for me and she said that it was a good length for them, but I think when I make them again there might be a few changes I make, but I reckon I will do it again, maybe in a plain drapey fabric. But I really like the structure of these, but because I've pre-washed them the wax has come off a bit. So yeah, I do really like them. I really enjoyed making them. They were a pretty quick make, even though I did film it in loads of separate little clips. I know there were so many outfit changes throughout this video, but sometimes it was cold and it was the same outfit just with another jumper over the top, or sometimes there were just a lot of outfit changes, but it didn't actually take me that long to make them. I think you could definitely whack them out in a day. I just didn't have a full day to do it. I've been so busy recently, which is why it's taken me so long to get them made and out for you. But yeah, I hope you like them. I hope you enjoyed this video. At the moment I am in the hospital. No, I'm not. Next week I'm going to be in the hospital for my first week of my therapy thing, which I talk about in my next video because I've pre-recorded that, and that is going to be a Q&A. So I think that will go out not next weekend but the weekend after, so that they're sort of, I'm not gone for a massive gap. It'll be week on video, week off video, week on video, week off video is the plan. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely weekend and a lovely rest of your week, and I'll be on Instagram still, so you can just talk to me on Instagram. Bye!